Oh no, these are stuck together. What's happened?
What are you doing with those comic books?
If you are enjoying the content and would like to help us continue making videos, your support on Patreon or Subscribestar would be amazing. We are a team of 5 full-time employees and unfortunately we are not yet sustainable, and rely wholly on ad revenue from other channels. And even with ad revenue, the monetization status of channels can switch without warning, especially with channels that are as outspoken as Night's Watch. If every one of our active viewers were able to donate between $1 to $5 a month, that would make us fully self-sustainable, and then we could try and grow and push to making even more and better content for you. Any support would be phenomenal, and thank you to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon or Subscribestar.
Welcome back to The Watch. Now, I want to talk about this because I'm like the only person who really has a point of reference for the background of it. But it's, okay, so Marvel has found a director and writer for the Thunderbolts live-action film. I think it's going to be a film. And very few people know who the Thunderbolts are. But I do, because I'm a comic book fan, and I bloody love the Thunderbolts. Eddie, this was my introduction to the Thunderbolts. It was the Spider-Man Thunderbolt team-up. And I was into Spider-Man. I was like, oh, these Thunderbolts are pretty cool. Wonder what their story is. And so I got my hand on the entire first Thunderbolt run. It was awesome. Awesome. And already it looks like they don't understand the source material.
What are they doing?
So, their description of who the Thunderbolts are, okay?
They're a Canadian team, aren't they?
I forget where they were based out of. It didn't bother me. But, so there is this article.
If they're a Canadian team, they don't have to worry about getting injured. It's free healthcare. Although they'll be on the waiting list for a long time. High taxes.
So, either the writers of this article don't know who the Thunderbolts are, or they work with Marvel and the people making this doesn't know who they describe the Thunderbolts.
All the above.
Are there any recent comics featuring Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts has had a pretty long run, and there's different evolutions. My exposure is all the way up until Hawkeye starts to lead the team, and a little bit into that arc. But it had a much more powerful beginning arc, and I'll explain it to you here. And so they say, in Marvel Comics, Thunderbolts are a team of former villains who accept perilous missions from the government, originally assembled by and named after the General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. The Thunderbolts team has recently seen a revival with a new series and characters roster in the comics. They're trying to... It's making them out like they're the Suicide Squad. Friggin' annoying me.
Sounds like
That's
that.
not what the Thunderbolts were. Thunderbolts started out as supervillains, posing as superheroes to try and get access to, like, special behind-the-scene self-defense codes from the government and the Avengers codes and everything to destroy everyone. There was a villainous plot of them posing... So when that starts, they are still villains posing as superheroes for the purpose of doing villainous things.
That's interesting.
Their arc, this is why I loved Thunderbolts, their arc was that in the act of pretending to be superheroes and doing good things, they end up becoming good people.
Makes them feel good.
And half the team actually have... It's a full redemption story, and half the team have a redemption arc that they want to be heroes and be good people now. And there's like a war in that they have to fight the team leader and other people to try and stop the original plan of the Thunderbolts to do the bad thing.
Sounds cool.
What
Damn
a great
villains.
story!
Yeah.
Always trying to do the bad thing.
But in this, it's trying to make
potential.
Suicide Squad again. And they don't understand how awesome the original Thunderbolts run was. And the characterization is actually, some of it is really, really good. So Atlas, this guy here, is a bit wishy-washy and he doesn't have a strong compass. But then you've got, I forget his name, Max something. And then Moonstone, see this lady here, Moonstone? She ends up pretending to be Captain Marvel at one point in the comics and everything. And so I won't say who becomes good and who doesn't and everything, but the leader, the original leader of the Thunderbolts, his name was Citizen V. But who was he? Who was the villain? Baron Helmut Zemo.
Oh.
You know Zemo
Yeah.
from
Good French
Civil
actor.
War?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Civil...
I don't remember.
Yeah, in Civil War, the bad guy in Civil War...
He was in...
Is he the Smarty Pants who was also in Cap...
Yes.
The German...
Yes,
Yeah.
he's
And
not actually German.
See this guy here?
Ah, okay.
That's actually
So he had a
Helmut
semi-redemption
Zemo.
arc, but he died, didn't he?
No.
Well,
I don't
I
think so.
can't remember. The arc of this is that Spider-Man, someone posing as Spider-Man, does something wrong, he gets a bounty on his head, and so they send the Thunderbolts after him, thinking that they're heroes to bring in the bad Spider-Man. The thing is, though, the Thunderbolts are all former villains, and a lot of them actually fought Spider-Man as villains, and they're like, yes, revenge, we can actually get Spider-Man. But through the course of the thing, they end up teaming up, helping him inadvertently, and stopping the bad guy pretending to be Spider-Man. And at the end, one of the characters, it's a Mac guy, gives the evidence to Spider-Man that will exonerate him and prove his innocence. And they're like, why'd you do that? And he's like, because... and he gives this villain excuse. But then at the very end of the comic, he's actually like, you know the real reason why I did it? This is him here. The real reason why I gave Spider-Man the thing? Because it was the right thing to do.
Oh.
This hero thing is...
It made me feel
is
a warm
addictive.
inside.
Yeah, like back when comic books were great. So this is the line. Like, I've got to tell you, Meteorite, this hero thing. I'm starting to think it's contagious. It's just back when comic books were good. And so I want, like, this annoys me. Marvel has such brilliant blueprints to make brilliant stuff, and they did that originally.
And they have so much.
There's so much more source material to work off of, and they did it pretty good all the way up until Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Hit and misses now and then, but overall there was some really great stuff. They just grabbed the source material and but they're not going to do it because everything since Endgame, well, it seems like. They have a political axe to grind. They want to teach the audience something, and they can't have the original heroes be heroic. They need to be supplanted and subverted. And so
Who's directing?
It's a director I've never heard of before. He's done a whole heap of random things. His name is Jake Schreier.
Jake Schreier.
It sounds familiar, but I looked up his things he's directed before. I didn't recognize anything from it. I'd have to go to it. But the writer, they credit this writer with something, and it's just like, oh no, it's going to be awful now. It's the writer from Black Widow, the movie. And Black Widow, the movie...
Such a disappointment.
...was so bad. And it's so weird, like, it bombed. The movie bombed, like, in terms of...
yeah, but that's Disney's fault.
The only thing I liked about it was the chemistry between the actors.
They had 6 butt shots in that movie. That's not no, I'm saying, like, feminism, they had that, but...
I don't get it.
Anyway.
You're saying it's all about feminism, but they still were catering to the male gaze?
That's it.
Yeah. Black Widow was so horribly written. It was astounding. And...
There was one thing I liked about it.
What?
At least they were honest about the trafficking of women, especially in Eastern Europe. That's a serious problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
That's a serious problem.
Yeah. The thing is, though, the movie is awful. So, I have pheromones that make you not be able to attack me. What?
So she smashes
So
her
she
face.
breaks her own nose? And just breaking your nose, I mean, you can still, I wouldn't prevent you having the effect of pheromones. You don't need to smell a pheromone.
Most things that you smell are because you can actually taste them.
Yeah.
Our tongue is responsible for tons of our smelling.
Actually, no, it's reverse. Our tongue can only distinguish between sour, sweet, savoury, and everything. It's our nose that provides most of the other flavours.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But I don't think that would have stopped a chemical reaction from pheromones from being... Anyway, it's so
Is that why you have such good taste? Sorry, man. that was a nose joke. That was a bit on the nose.
And so, it's so bad. Like, spoilers for Black Widow. It's a bit late, though, if you haven't seen it. So,
Sucks.
So, she's... At the end of the film, she's falling without a parachute. Anyone who says, like, oh, she's going to die. But Taskmaster, in the genius of Taskmaster, thinks she's going to die, because it's falling out, but I'm going to jump off and try and kill her anyway with a parachute and provide her with an opportunity to steal my parachute, and then she...
To be fair, both Taskmaster and Black Widow were women, so...
I deny...
Who made the film?
No, thing is, she was only a woman when she took the helmet off, but in every other scene, it's a bloke in that costume.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. Don't tell me Taskmaster. And Taskmaster was always a bloke in the comic books as well. So
I can see.
Again, it comes into this thing like, at Disney, people just fail upward. They make something horrible, and I want to ask the question, why do you think this is the case? Why do you think, even after they make a steaming dumpster fire, that they're like, I'll give you another job and promote you. We could do this. These are the dumpster files, I'm telling you.
We need to go through the dumpster files.
Yes. Has its own theme.
Yeah, it deserves it at this point. Anyway, what are your thoughts? I have a speculation as to why.
Well, you know me, I have a lot of speculation as to why, and I'm not allowed to talk about all of it, for various reasons.
But this is a more specific thing. Like, they hire someone from, if you would just look at the end result, I don't know if their script got butchered through the process.
I could tell you specifically why. Again, it's the ESG thing, and the quickest way to the ESG thing, the surest way to that, is to have people who are incredibly progressive make the stuff. And so that's what they do. They hire the progressive people who say, yeah, we'll make it about this, and this.
If they were talented, they could have the progressive things in it and still write something good.
If they were talented.
Kidding.
If they were talented,
I know.
they'd be smart, right?
Yeah.
And if they were smart, they wouldn't believe what they believe. I believe that.
I have met some smart people who believe in certain woke politics and stuff like that. It's not impossible. So it's true. It's like
contradictions everywhere.
Yeah, good point.
And so they could just try and find someone who's talented and could push their politics, but it's so weird because they're prioritizing politics so much, and they're prioritizing hiring people with the right demographics and not if they can do the job, right? Then the quality of what they'll be making is garbage, and so this Thunderbolts could be so great, but it's just going to be awful just by already who they're getting to write the thing. And the fact that if this was how they described Thunderbolts to the person writing the article, they don't even understand what the core Thunderbolts theme was originally.
Yeah.
That would be such a powerful arc in a film, a redemption arc for all these things, all these villains and stuff. And it sounds like, again, they're just making Suicide Squad, but Marvel now. And they could get to push their politics and have something great at the same time. You said the best example of actually something half decent, but still has the woke agenda. Carnival Row. You mentioned a lot.
You got to watch that, guys. It's actually good.
So part of me thinks that this writer who wrote for Captain Marvel, maybe it isn't wholly their fault, but they are getting the additional work, and even promotions, is because they do what they're told.
Yeah.
It's like, Feige comes in and says, we need this checklist of stuff. I don't care how it fits in. Fit it in. But I just wrote this consistent... No, fit it in. All right. Yeah. Here it is. I did what you said. Don't blame me. And even if it's a dumpster, which often it is, they're like, I like you. You did what you're told.
Yeah. Regardless of whether it's the writer or the director, leader, whatever, they're all sycophants with agendas. And they always make this sort of crap.
It seems like that. Because have you noticed how many directors leave projects in Disney due to creative differences? It's a lot. All right?
That's just a coincidence.
Surely. Because what really sounds like is that they get a director with a modicum of talent, and the director has a vision what they want, and Disney's like, no, change this, we need this progressive thing. Oh, what? You're having the hero be saved by... No. A woman can't be saved by a man. They only need to save herself. That would be... Like, if we actually had a woman saved by a man in this, that would... teach women that they have to rely on men in some instances, and that's evil.
Even if it wasn't for political reasons, they just had creative differences, They hire the director, hey, do this movie. He's like, okay, here's my vision. It doesn't... Like, what do you think about the dynamic there? Does the director have any ground to stand on, or is it...
It's tricky.
To an extent.
There's an example where... I can only think of like one or two.
Do you want to tell you why I'm asking this question?
Why?
Just in case we have creative differences in the future.
Oh, well, you don't get a choice then.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's why I wanted to know.
Look, Disney has the power, right? But the problem is that the execs actually aren't directors or creative. They just, are
They're
going...
just money men.
Exactly. Checkbook, like tick boxing and things like that.
Yep.
I am a creative person. I've been creating lots of things for a while, and so I do fall back on my judgment in a lot of things of content and what's been making and stuff. And so I would actually, if I was overseeing a production that I was, say, bankrolling, I would have more confidence to say, what are you doing? That's a massive plot hole. Fix it, right? Because I would see the problem and have the objective reason why it needs to be done.
You should work for Victoria Rhodes.
Well, funnily enough, that's actually what happened on the film set for the short film adaptation of my novel. Still they're making progress. It's a while, because things are expensive. But when I was there, I was really grateful. The director and also essentially the showrunner, right, wanted my feedback. They were constantly asking for it, and there were some serious plot holes that I was like, this is a problem. They listened to me and they worked to fix it. It was actually really satisfying.
When it comes out, that'll be hilarious and really satisfying for me.
A good example of this is Howl's Moving Castle, based on the novel by Diana Wynne Jones. Miyazaki involved her a lot in the creative process, even though the movie is so different to the book.
Very different.
He consulted with her about these changes and said, are these changes all right? Do you think it still stays true to the characters? And she'd say, yeah, this is a really good job, even though it's different to the original. It's still great, and we still got a great movie.
Incredible movie. I didn't even like the book that much.
Isn't it surprising that the author of a well-written, successful novel might actually have some useful insight into the writing of an adaptation? But clearly I'm crazy, right? No, in a lot of adaptations, as soon as the Hollywood gets the rights, they don't listen to the writer at all.
That's why
and they don't understand the vision, and they just want to create it in their own. And we see it so many times. Look at Halo. Look at Wheel of Time, where these they get the rights and they want to make something in their own image, not the core.
That's different though. 343 helped a lot. Had several employees working with the people who did that. 343 just doesn't understand Halo. It's the equivalent of that, except 343 got Halo and they don't know what to do with it. So.
But there's so many examples, and Disney is just the same as this. And so it doesn't seem like there is talented people giving the correction. And I don't know if the directors have a good vision, because there are some times where the director actually, they're doing something really out of left field, not right. And for instance, because when they do that, look what we got in The Last Jedi.
Oh, okay.
The Last Jedi, Disney gave Rian Johnson all power to do whatever he wanted, and he just made something. He made an abomination. He wrote something and took it on the first draft. He one attempt at the script and is like, this is perfect.
That's why. So what you were saying before about involving the author and I worry about when they make a Mistborn series or a Stormlight Archive or anything Brandon Sanderson.
I started reading that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Have you got up to how they explain the magic system yet?
I just finished the prologue.
Okay.
So, in terms of the Mistborn adaptation, Brandon, he does live streams and he talks about stuff. He's writing the screen treatment himself for it, basically. Because
he still changed Ham to be a woman.
He's changing Ham to be a woman.
Why?
Ham is what's called a pewter arm, which means when he drinks his allomancy skill, when he drinks the metal and burns it, is that he gets very strong.
But also, he can heal. It's a boost of your physicality.
And he was a man who was like a well-known kind of military dude with a family, and they're changing him to a woman. And he seems like he reminds me of Perrin a bit. Anyway.
I mean, I would prefer Ham staying how he is. The thing is, though, Brandon is talented. And if there's anyone who is capable of doing an interesting change in an adaptation, it would be Brandon. So that's one of the few cases...
he is the creator.
Exactly. And the creator... I know, but the creator actually would have the authority to make those changes.
Yeah, like gay Dumbledore, like Black Hermione. Huh?
Okay, there is death at the author,
there you go.
I admit. Those are powerful examples there, Oz.
Well, that's not changing it into the story, that's adding things on for the sake of, look at what I've done.
Yeah. But why wasn't there a trans character? Huh?
You could have done so much more.
I'll tell you why, because she's a TERF.
So, interesting points you bring up, but even with those points, when someone else gets a hold of someone's work, they have a responsibility to respect it.
Yeah.
Okay, if the author wants to change things, and even if some might perceive that as disrespecting their own work, that is their choice. Even if we might disagree with it sometimes, but when it's not their work, that's when hold up. You don't have the authority. Respect the source material. Don't warp it into some springboard for your own politics, which is...
Surely there's the rare, very rare occasion the creators, like, have at it.
Sometimes. And sometimes, like, if someone is talented, yeah, it would be great if people just
I
say...
want to see how you interpret this, I'll leave it to you.
But unfortunately, The Last Jedi proves that can go disastrously
Yeah,
wrong
but
as
so
well.
can again, definitely
Anything.
the author can do it themselves.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to that, it goes to whatever is most true archetypally and in terms of like the how stories are meant to work in terms of reality and stuff like that.
Yeah, and in terms of the adaptation argument, people often bring up Starship Troopers, where the film version of Starship Troopers, the actual director, his intent, he hated the source material, and he wanted...
He didn't even read it.
Yeah, and he wanted to bastardize the source material.
Yeah, he wanted to say, look at this fascism, it's bad.
And he ended up making a great film.
It's not a fascist system at all. It's the
But
dumbest
to me,
thing.
that doesn't excuse what he did. If he had no right to try and bastardize someone else's work, he should have made his own thing as a comedic send-up of supposed fascism, and not, make it based on.
But that's the thing. It's not fascism at all because
I know.
their leaders are accountable. The state media isn't propaganda. They literally show the horrors of war.
I know, and he was not insightful enough to realise that he was
too stupid. Timeline was a political
and he ended up
genius.
making a great film that was not having the message that he thought it did. So it's just Disney has not learned a thing. They're doubling down on their crap.
Tell you what, they've learned how to get the cheese, but they're kind of, losing that ability.
And it's just... Look, maybe this will be too hard for me to review. I'll certainly at least check out the first one.
I had enough pain with all the time.
But they had something that could have been brilliant with the Thunderbolts. So there's a great story here. Yet it seems like they don't care. They have a what seems to be a yes person writer that'll just do what they're told, put in the politics that they want. Because if that writer was genuinely responsible for the crap, the absolute heaping pile of crap that was the Black Widow's story, is just... How did he get a job? Like, it baffles me.
Yeah.
But I think it's because he would just do what he's told.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you like that if you're the businessman? Wouldn't you like that?
Yep.
You got to be fair here.
Surely.
It's true, but that's because the business people, they don't want to make something good anymore.
Yeah, that's they don't care about.
They don't care about the
is.
quality. They care about the agenda now.
They care about the money they get because of the agenda.
If you are disagreeing with us, all right, there is so much evidence. One of the biggest points of evidence is this: is when they're trying to promote anything, Disney, right? If they at any point legitimately try and promote one of their TV shows, movies, because of a progressive thing, it has a diverse cast or anything like that, there's the proof of their agenda. They're wanting to make something that is diverse and representative, not something that's good. And the way that they promote it is not saying, hey, this is a great film. They're trying to promote it by saying, look at how diverse it is.
Well, they do that for money.
If you look at the promotion in Eternals, nearly every talking point, people have made video montages of all the actors and everything promoting the film by saying it's the most diverse film ever.
Yeah,
it's
they
got
do
so
that.
much
They do that
representation.
for money.
Not because it's great.
Yeah.
And so there's the agenda. They're making it for an agenda, not to make things good.
Well, the agenda is money, and the reason they get the money from the agenda is because it's literally bankrolled for their agenda.
There are troubling signs about that, yet I don't know how far that goes, because some people are slowly learning it. Netflix have started a clean house.
You ever heard a bird in the hand is two in the bush?
I've heard of it.
Okay, now what's more likely? You risk it on audiences liking it, or you get a massive bank loan from the world's biggest investment firm ever, fourth arm of the American government. Which one,
It could only go so far, though. Because Disney stock has been plummeting. They've been, you can only rely on being propped up through a artificial system for so long.
Empires only last 250 years, so I guess that's how long it can last.
Well, So this is just... I wanted to talk about this because I love the Thunderbolts, and Disney aren't changing, and people are failing up, and they're just going to keep spitting out crap as evidenced by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think the only way we win this thing and actually have good stuff come out is to make it ourselves. That's the only. You want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
But also
that's
to
the only way.
Praise the
Top Gun.
good stuff. Top Gun.
Yeah, look at Tom Cruise.
Stay strong, Tom
I won't
Cruise.
do it unless it's this way.
Alrighty, let us know what you think in the comments below, and as always, stay watchful. This was such a funny, like, the artwork was brilliant, but the arc in this is that these two people dressed in black come around and they have powers that at the surface seem to be similar to him, and he thinks they're his children, but it's revealed they're the children of Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn. Yeah, the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn.
That's
Old
stupid.
guy?
Old guy, yeah, that they had an affair. They had an affair.
But he assumes they're his children?
It's
Does
this.
Norman Osborn give them powers or something?
No,
They inherit
Gwen Stacy.
Norman Osborn powers.
Oh, I thought
Goblin
Spider-Gwen.
powers.
Goblin
That is
powers.
great art.
Like phenomenal art.
Can I look at it?
Yeah. I'm glad you can appreciate this. I would get a lot of these comic books, honestly, when I was young, for the art, just how awesome the art was.
My goodness.
How great is that? This is, look. Does something look different about Peter Parker here?
Look at the blackout. Look
I
at
know.
the shape.
It's so...
Form they've
You
created
better
with
show the
blackout.
camera. This is when Ben Reilly, this is in the Clone Saga, and Ben Reilly was the Spider-Man at the moment. And,
Look at the expression.
I know, what happened to comic books, right?
The same thing that happened to everything else.
Comic books
Literally,
is
communists got inside of it.
So darn good.
There's so much care put into this.
You are absolutely... Oh, this is the one I'm looking for. I had 2 copies. And Thunderbolts,
the same.
Spider-Man team up, and it has genuinely a great payoff in the end.
Look at this panel here. What?
It looks so real.
This one bottom panel.
Look at this! Look at this! Classic Captain Marvel. This is the Captain Marvel before Captain Marvel, the proper Captain Marvel. Well, I mean, who's proper?
The OG.
Captain Marvel.
So he's with Gwen Stacy in this one. Oh, here we go.
Osborn!
No!
Show me that one, this is great.
That's a disturbing thing to look at.
Whoever's editing the Thunderbolts one will put this in the after credits thing. This was my first introduction to Daredevil when I was young, and I I was like, this Daredevil guy's awesome.
He's swinging and he looks constipated.
Push me, Spider-Man,
Oh,
push
leave
me.
him alone.
He's putting a lot of effort into swinging.
So this is a follow-up of that one, Sins Past, and same artist, like incredible artwork in it. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that panel right there. He's saving daughter of Gwen Stacy the way that he didn't get to. It conveys the. I like
It's
it
a
when
great
they
composition.
I like it when they skew the anatomy for
good composition.
motion and.
I think I got the foreshortening wrong on the legs.
Well, there's a difference between perspective and...
Anatomy, really good. There's a difference, like they're 2 separate schools of learning for art.
like...
This one has great exaggerated proportions.
And
No, in terms of look at
But it's a great composition.
Look at Wolverine in this. Look at the exaggerated proportions, but how
Oh,
it
yeah, that's
conveys.
fine. Stylizing is fine.
I love
but
it.
You need to keep within your own stylization.
The trick with
You need to keep to your own rules.
the trick with posing and anatomy for comics is you need to push it to its limit, but not over. That's the trick. That's what I've heard.
I mean, look at... Sure.
Okay. Oh.
The best cartoonists already have the basics down.
So Spider-Woman, this is a different Spider-Woman. She couldn't decide on her costume, and so her costume like changed every issue.
Looks like she's wearing 70% of the costume that Spider-Man
I feel
does.
that.
That's the truth. That's the truth, eh? It's, she can't... What the hell is that?
This is not Spider-Woman, right?
No, that's the villain of the comic book. It's like a skin suit villain. Now, this is one of the greatest comics ever made.
Danger Girl.
Danger Girl. It's campy. It's meant to be. It's a send-up of the spy genre, and so it's full, like the main characters are made on purpose to be like these sexy women. But the thing is, the art is phenomenal by J. Scott Campbell.
I bet it is. Can I have a look?
Like, it is actually genuinely brilliant. Like, wait for this. Wait for this. Look at this.
Wow.
Fold out. Look, this is the cover. Holy crap.
Wow.
Holy crap. This is... Look at how friggin' incredible that is.
What do you think, Claudia? What's any anatomy issues on that part?
No comment. It's not made for me.
It is. That's the thing. It's unashamed in terms of what the
that's
target
fine.
audience is, and I think it's actually genuinely brilliant. You should have a look though. This is because it's actually written in a very witty way as well, and so it's very good. And it's a campy kind of spoof, send up homage of the spy genre though.
The inside's a little better than the...
The two ninja guys when they fight, they just before the fight they just rip their tops off because reasons. Like, so it's unashamed in both directions. Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
it's great. I love it. And so it has the cliche weird villain. So it's got a midget villain and the guy that's like like they have two characters that are both caricatures of James Bond. One like the Sean Connery James Bond, and one the more suave younger one. But this is the suave younger one, and the midget villain. So he starts teasing him for being short. Let me just wait. Where is it?
Midget Hitler, huh?
It's like, oh my god, someone's taking this world domination thing a little too far.
Huh.
Just a dab, a smidget, a wee bit, because the guy's short.
I'm going to write all of those down and use them against Claudia.
They're about to die, so he just grabs the girl and starts kissing her.
Valid.
Oh no, these are stuck together. What's happened?
What are you doing with those comic books?
In a minute. Food. Oh, Venom. It's got. I got. It's the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Those are your comic cooks. Oh, wait, can I read this? I want to see what's going on from there.
You can read it over my shoulder.
They seem to be not happy with each other.
Do you want me to linger on this page?
No.
Sure. It is like J. Scott Campbell is an amazing artist.
Whoa! Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
It's
Damn.
wicked. Comic books. Back when they were great. Looks like a lot of independent comic book creators making great ones. I've been working on one myself with Mike Miller. Hopefully it'll come out. We're having issues with printing, all right? But anyway.